Hey everyone, welcome to an absolutely riveting deep dive into real-life stories that'll make you rethink what it means to be home alone. We're about to unpack 5 true pulse-pounding accounts of ordinary people, kids, teens, and adults, facing terrifying, unexpected dangers right in the comfort of their own homes. These aren't spooky ghost tales or paranormal mysteries. These are raw, real-world human experiences grounded in reality, packed with every heart-stopping detail to pull you into the moment. From burglars and scams to split-second decisions that saved lives, these stories will keep you glued to the screen. So, grab a snack, lock your doors, and let's dive into the chaos of these incredible true events. Our first story takes us to a quiet suburban neighborhood in Arizona in 2019, where 14-year-old Ethan was home alone on a sunny afternoon. His parents were at work, and he was sprawled on the couch, immersed in a video game, when a faint clattering echoed from the garage. At first, he chalked it up to a stray animal or maybe a tool falling off a shelf. But the noise persisted, morphing into a deliberate scraping, like someone was dragging metal across concrete. Uneasy, Ethan paused his game and strained to listen. The sound stopped, then started again, now accompanied by a faint thud. His stomach twisted as he remembered his dad's warning about break-ins in the neighborhood. Ethan grabbed his phone and opened the family's security camera app, a recent addition after a neighbor's car was stolen. What he saw sent a chill down his spine. A man in a dark hoodie, face half hidden by a bandana, was crouched by the back door, working a crowbar against the lock. Ethan's heart pounded as he realized this wasn't a random noise. This was an attempted break-in. He sprinted to the hallway, snatched his dad's aluminum baseball bat, and bolted upstairs to his bedroom. Locking the door, he dove into his closet, pulling the sliding door shut behind him. With trembling fingers, he dialed 911, whispering to the operator about the intruder. The operator's calm voice kept him grounded as he relayed his address and stayed hidden. Meanwhile, the man outside grew frustrated, the crowbar slipping and clanging against the doorframe. Ethan could hear faint cursing through the window. Then, a stroke of luck. The home's alarm system, which Ethan's dad had insisted on arming even during the day, detected the tampering and unleashed a piercing wail. The intruder froze, then bolted across the backyard, vaulting the fence. Police arrived within 7 minutes, guided by Ethan's detailed description and the camera footage. They caught the burglar 2 blocks away, still clutching the crowbar. He was a 30-year-old drifter who'd hit 6 homes in the area, preying on houses that looked empty. Ethan's quick thinking, combined with the security system, not only kept him safe, but helped police stop a crime spree. He later admitted he didn't sleep for days, haunted by the what-ifs, but his family praised him as a hero. Story number 2 unfolds in Ohio in 2022, where 28-year-old Sarah, a graphic designer, was settling into her new apartment in a small town. She'd moved there for a fresh start after a tough year, and the quaint, tree-lined street felt like a safe haven. It was a chilly October evening, and Sarah was curled up on her couch with a cup of tea, watching a true crime documentary. Ironic, given what was about to happen. Around 9:30 p.m., her phone buzzed with a notification from her Ring doorbell camera, which she'd installed as a precaution. Expecting a neighbor dropping off a misdelivered package, she opened the app and felt her blood run cold. A man she'd never seen before was pacing on her porch, his face shadowed by a baseball cap pulled low. He wasn't carrying anything. No package, no clipboard. Just his hands stuffed in his pockets, his head swiveling as he scanned the street. Sarah's heart raced as she watched him step closer to the door, his fingers grazing the handle, testing it with a slow, deliberate twist. The lock held, but the audacity of it made her skin crawl. She muted the TV, her documentary forgotten, and crept to the kitchen to double-check the deadbolt. Every window latch was secured, but she felt exposed, knowing he was just feet away. Sarah grabbed her phone again and dialed 911, her voice barely above a whisper as she explained the situation. The operator told her to stay out of sight and keep the lights off to make the apartment look empty. Sarah complied, switching off every lamp and crouching behind her couch, her eyes glued to the camera feed. The man circled the building, peering into windows and trying the side gate, which was thankfully padlocked. Sarah's hands shook as she narrated his movements to the dispatcher, who assured her police were minutes away. The man lingered for what felt like hours, but was only about 10 minutes, his behavior growing bolder until the faint wail of sirens sent him sprinting into the shadows. Police arrived, searched the area, and found no trace of him that night, but the Ring camera had captured clear shots of his face, clothing, and even a distinctive tattoo on his wrist. Days later, detectives matched the footage to a suspect in a series of break-ins targeting young women living alone. The man, a 35-year-old with a history of theft and assault, was arrested after trying to hit another apartment in the same town. Sarah's vigilance and her decision to invest in that doorbell camera likely saved her from a violent encounter. She later joined a local safety workshop, teaching others how to secure their homes, and started a blog to share her experience, hoping to empower others to trust their instincts. Our third story takes us to California in 2017, where 12-year-old Mia was home alone after school in a modest neighborhood. Her parents, both nurses, often worked late shifts, so Mia was used to managing a couple of hours on her own. She'd developed a routine: lock the door, grab a snack, and start her homework at the kitchen table. On this particular day, she was puzzling over a math worksheet when a loud, insistent banging jolted her from her focus. Someone was pounding on the front door, hard enough to rattle the frame. A man's voice shouted, "Delivery! I've got a package, need a signature right now." Mia's first thought was excitement. Maybe her mom had ordered something, but a nagging doubt stopped her. Her parents always told her when to expect a delivery, and they hadn't mentioned anything. The banging continued, more aggressive now, and the man's tone shifted from professional to impatient, yelling, "Come on, kid, I know you're in there." Mia's excitement turned to fear. She slid off her chair and tiptoed to the living room window, peeking through the blinds. The man was in his 20s, wearing a plain jacket and holding a clipboard, but there was no delivery truck in sight, no uniform, no package. Her parents' rule echoed in her mind: never open the door for a stranger, no matter what they say. Mia grabbed her phone and called her mom, who was in the middle of a shift at the hospital. Her mom's voice was calm but firm. "Don't answer, hide, and I'm calling the police." Mia snatched a rolling pin from the kitchen drawer, her only weapon, and crawled under the dining room table, pulling a chair in front of her for cover. She stayed silent, her heart thumping as the man knocked again, then tried the doorknob, twisting it back and forth. After a few agonizing minutes, the knocking stopped, and Mia heard footsteps fading away. Police arrived shortly after, alerted by her mom's call, but the man was gone. Neighbors reported seeing a similar guy in a beat-up sedan cruising the street earlier that day. Investigators later tied him to a sophisticated scam targeting homes with latchkey kids, where imposters posed as delivery drivers to trick children into opening the door. The goal was often robbery, but some cases hinted at darker intentions. Mia's adherence to her parents' rules and her quick call to her mom kept her safe from a potentially life-altering encounter. She later helped her school start a safety program for kids who stay home alone, sharing her story to teach others how to stay cautious without living in fear. Story number 4 transports us to Texas in 2020, during the quiet days of winter break in a college town. Jake, a 20-year-old sophomore, was staying at his family's house while his parents and younger sister were away visiting grandparents. The neighborhood was eerily empty, with most students gone for the holidays, and Jake relished the solitude, spending his nights gaming and watching movies. One night, around 2 a.m., he was halfway through a sci-fi flick when he heard a faint crunch outside, like boots on the gravel driveway. He paused the movie, assuming it was the wind or a stray dog, but the sound came again. Slow, deliberate steps, now closer to the house. Jake's pulse quickened as he realized the noise was inside, coming from the living room downstairs. Someone was walking across the hardwood floor, their footsteps heavy and unmistakable. Jake didn't have a gun or a bat, so he grabbed his phone and a heavy textbook, the only thing within reach. He eased his bedroom door shut and pushed his dresser against it, wincing at every creak. His mind raced, remembering an unlocked window in the garage. Had he forgotten to check it? With no time to second guess, he texted his next-door neighbor, Mr. Alvarez, a retired police officer who'd always been like an uncle to Jake's family. The text was simple. "Someone's in my house. Please help." Mr. Alvarez didn't reply, but immediately called 911 and grabbed his flashlight, heading to Jake's yard. Jake, now on the phone with a dispatcher, whispered updates as he heard muffled voices downstairs. There was more than one intruder. The dispatcher kept him calm, telling him to stay barricaded until police arrived. Downstairs, 2 teenagers were rifling through the living room, tossing drawers and stuffing game consoles into a duffel bag. They'd climbed through that unlocked garage window, thinking the house was empty. Mr. Alvarez's flashlight beam through the window spooked them, and they froze when police sirens approached. Officers caught the teens in the act, one still holding Jake's PlayStation. The intruders, both 17, admitted they'd targeted the neighborhood because it was a ghost town during the break. Jake's quick thinking and his trust in his neighbor turned a terrifying night into a clean arrest. He later replaced every window lock in the house and gave Mr. Alvarez a heartfelt thank you, complete with a case of his favorite beer. Our final story lands in Florida in 2023, where 16-year-old Tyler was home alone on a bright Saturday afternoon. His single mom, a real estate agent, had stepped out for a few hours to show a property, leaving Tyler to his favorite pastime, online gaming. He was deep into a match, headset on, shouting call-outs to his teammates, when he took a quick break to grab a soda. As he passed the kitchen window, he noticed the back gate swaying open, its padlock dangling loose. Tyler frowned. His mom always kept it locked. Then he saw him, a man in a gray hoodie, mid-30s, fiddling with the gate's latch while glancing nervously at the house. Tyler's first instinct was to yell out, thinking it might be a maintenance guy, but the man's crouched posture and quick movements screamed trouble. Tyler yanked off his headset, his game forgotten, and grabbed his phone to call his mom. She answered on the second ring, her voice tense as she told him to lock every door and call 911. Tyler did exactly that, securing the back door and checking the front, then grabbed a chef's knife from the kitchen block. He retreated to the upstairs bathroom, the farthest room from the backyard, and locked himself in, his hands shaking as he dialed the police. Through the small bathroom window, he could see the man move from the gate to the shed, tugging at its lock with a small tool. Tyler whispered updates to the 911 operator, describing the man's black sneakers, torn jeans, and the duffel bag slung over his shoulder. The operator kept him focused, asking questions to keep him calm while police rolled in silently. The man was still prying at the shed when officers crept through the side yard, catching him off guard. He tried to run but tripped over a garden hose, giving police an easy arrest. The man, a 34-year-old with a rap sheet for theft, had a bag full of lockpicks and gloves, clearly planning to hit the house after scoping the shed. Tyler's sharp eyes and immediate action stopped a break-in before it could escalate. His mom, though proud, was furious about the knife, grounding him for a week and enrolling them both in a home safety course. She also upgraded their gate with a heavier lock and added motion sensor lights, determined to never feel vulnerable again. These 5 stories, from Arizona to Florida, show how quickly a normal day can spiral into danger when you're home alone. Ethan's use of technology, Sarah's trust in her instincts, Mia's adherence to rules, Jake's community connection, and Tyler's alertness, all these moments highlight the power of staying calm and thinking fast. Each person faced a real threat, from seasoned criminals to opportunistic teens, and came out unscathed because they acted decisively. Their stories aren't just about survival. They're about resilience, preparation, and the small choices that can change everything. Thanks for watching, and stay safe out there.